Now, while many video games often end up feeling formulaic and full of the same systems and mechanics that you've seen dozens of times before, there are some games that contain unique details that really ground you in the experience, and some can be easily missed by many players and titles that reward those aiming to seek out every inch of the world that they find themselves in. So let's take a look at them. As I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are 10 seriously immersive video game details you missed. Number 10. Filling the car at the petrol station. MAFIA 1 and 2. The MAFIA trilogy contains many impressively realistic details across its 3 titles, from the radio distorting when driving through a tunnel to receiving a fine if you let the police pull you over after driving past them with no regard for the speed limit. Although not found in the 3rd game, one of the most immersive features found in the series is the ability to refuel your vehicle, with a well-hidden gauge on the HUD indicating when it's time to take a trip to the petrol station. Cars will slow down significantly as your fuel gets lower, with some higher-powered vehicles taking less time to deplete their reserves than other, more pedestrian cars in the series. While it is entirely optional due to the fact that you can simply steal another car, the fact that this detail exists is just one example of how the series attempts to present a more grounded and realistic world for the player to experience, and gives the players the ability to keep their favourite cars well looked after if they so choose. Number 9. Counting Ammo. King Kong. Peter Jackson's King Kong, the official game of the movie, yes, that is the actual title, may have aged considerably since its 2005 release, but it did make some rather interesting design choices. Although you can play as Kong during a few chaotic levels, the game mostly follows protagonist Jack Driscoll as he attempts to survive the perils of Skull Island. The lack of a HUD seriously adds to the dread the player experiences as they traverse this island, facing off against monsters that Jack is woefully unequipped to face at all. A side effect of this lack of on-screen information is that the player can't actually see how much ammo they've got remaining for their weapons, with Jack instead commenting on the magazines available to him. While the player can trigger these calls at any time, it raises the tension during combat, especially as ammo is quite rare, and feels very different to the tendency of other first-person shooters to place an ammo counter on screen. Jack also shouts midway through combat scenarios when he needs to reload. Another use of the feature that feels incredibly immersive, while also somewhat raising your pulse. Number 8. Sandbags can lose their sand. Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. Now, there are some subtle touches in games that really make a particular set piece memorable once you've seen them, and one such detail can be found during one of Uncharted 4's many excellent combat sections halfway through the story. You see, towards the end of Chapter 11, protagonist Nathan Drake comes face to face with an armoured truck with a particularly lethal turret. Dodging between cover, you'll eventually come across some extremely well-placed sandbags, offering a much-needed buffer between Drake and the relentless gunfire. Unfortunately, this cover doesn't last very long, with the onslaught of bullets gradually emptying the sandbags. Now, it's easily missed if you're focusing solely on the next point to run to, but it's an example of the kind of attention to detail that we've come to expect from developer Naughty Dog. Drake even drops to a lower crouch position as the bags begin to empty, and he becomes more exposed, further increasing the sense of danger as the turret rains fire down upon him. It's a moment that stands in contrast to the cool and calmer manner in which Drake usually deals with being fired upon, and gives the player an added sense of realism during this particular gunfight. Number 7. Real-time weather effects. Days Gone. Now, despite some problems, Days Gone is ultimately an underrated title. The 2019 zombie shooter suffered from a bloated length and some rather uninspired choices when it came to the story, but it does make some bold decisions too, with some of them feeling incredibly immersive. Needing to refuel the bike, for example, gives you a stronger sense of danger when outside of the camp, and helps the experience of driving around the world feel more grounded in reality, while the guitarist that you can occasionally spot busking in Iron Mike's camp makes Days Gone feel more alive. But weather effects are the most impressive example of this though, with puddles forming due to rain and snow settling in real time. Watching snow fall to the ground offers a sense of serenity that contrasts quite heavily with the carnage found amongst the constant threat of freaker hordes, and is an extremely effective tool in heightening feelings of immersion while playing. The weather also affects how the freakers react to you, with the cold temperature during snowfall increasing their strength, whilst heavy rainfall impairs their ability to see you and allows a stealthier approach to combat.
Hello, brave knight of the digital realm. 'Tis Sir Scott of the WhatCultures here, and just look at how much fun we've all been having.
Josh, make sure you're picking. Oh no, get out of the way! Get out of the way, Josh! Get out of the way! Get out of the way!
That's right, myself, Josh, and Jules have embarked on a journey of brotherhood and redemption in The Valiant, THQ Nordic's all-new squad-based RTS set in an age of medieval warfare. We've been commanding all number of knights and nobles through an epic single-player campaign, knocking horsepats out of each other in the versus modes, and teaming up for a frankly epic survival run as the brotherhood of good gaming boys that we are, with mixed results.
Yes! Another victory, Scott. You're too good at this.
We have taken Scott's hero. That means that he's going to regenerate now, so he's got a bit of a downtime. So I am going to kill the last of his troops and make a play for the mid-ground. Oh, and that has been drained, my friend. I have claimed victory! Ha-ha!
We hardly ever get a chance to bust out the robes and the suits of armor, so huge thanks to THQ Nordic. And sincerely, my lords and ladies, we actually had a really good time. The game is available now on Steam, and you can watch the three of us playing all the major game modes right here on WhatCulture Gaming. Links to both are in the description. Anyway, my liege, back to that video.
Number 6. Sleeping is very important. Kingdom Come Deliverance. Historical accuracy and realism are values that most games fail to achieve, either through it not being something translatable to a mass audience or just because the developers instead aim their focus elsewhere. But Kingdom Come Deliverance goes further than most titles in this regard, with some of the most realistic and true-to-life gameplay seen in a video game. Now, sure, some of it doesn't translate too well, but the level of commitment to deliver on this front is definitely admirable. A key example of how far Kingdom Come Deliverance goes in the name of realism can actually be found when attempting to save your game. Now, sleep is tied to the save mechanic, giving it a stronger sense of importance than you'd find in your average game. The game contains a meter telling you when protagonist Henry is too tired, and failure to raise this meter by going for some well-needed shut-eye results in some inconvenient debuffs. The need to sleep makes you plan your days before finding an inn to rent for the night, which contributes heavily to its sense of immersion. And better beds give you better quality of sleep as well, so choosing where you sleep is important for avoiding trouble with certain enemies. Number 5. Yuri Lowenthal recorded his lines twice. Marvel's Spider-Man. Marvel's Spider-Man is widely considered amongst the best Spider-Man games ever, and is arguably one of the greatest Marvel games ever made. The plot and characters are superbly written, with excellent combat and visuals representing developer Insomniac at the top of their game. The 2018 title also contains some rather neat touches to really hammer home the immersion as well, something not at the forefront when considering the accomplishments of the game, but it is definitely there. For example, Peter Parker's voice actor Yuri Lowenthal recorded all of the web-slinger's dialogue twice, once for instances where Spider-Man is not moving, and once for times when he's swinging, fighting, or otherwise exerting himself. It creates an effect that is ultimately subtle until you notice it, after which time it becomes difficult not to test it out during the many phone calls that Spider-Man takes throughout the game. Its subtlety also speaks to how effective it is though, with both sets of dialogue seamlessly triggering at the point that they are needed. It's extremely impressive and an example of one of the best studios today working their magic. Number 4. Cloud patterns and weather are accurately mapped. Gran Turismo 7. The Gran Turismo series is renowned for pushing the boundaries of what is possible in the racing genre. Across 8 mainline releases spanning multiple decades, the series has become known for its simulation-heavy focus and its ability to innovate and improve on its features. And one such innovation came in the latest in the series, GT7, which boasts some impressive attention to detail surrounding its cloud mapping and weather effects. Tracks in the games have been given cloud formations that are specific to the country that the track can be found in, with the developers using meteorological data to accurately map them as close to real life as possible. Different weather and climate conditions have also been designed closely to match those found in real locations, with these conditions having a large effect on how the tracks themselves feel to race on. Many of these effects happen in real time as well, with tyre wear and the effectiveness of slipstream changing to suit the weather conditions at any given time. It's a level of detail that is rarely seen in any game, let alone one with racing as its focus, and is an extremely immersive touch that elevates GT7 beyond many of its peers. Number 3. Maintaining gas mask efficiency. The Metro series. Another video game series that really attempts to present the player with a believable world, the Metro franchise excels in making its characters feel alive and story feel genuine. There are many times throughout the series where smart choices in game mechanics and design make surviving in this post-apocalyptic wasteland feel particularly harrowing and very different to life within the confines of the Metro. One of the most effective methods of building both tension and immersion in the franchise while making the player feel like part of the world is the use of the gas mask. Not only does the player need to collect filters filters throughout the world in order to stop protagonist Artyom breathing in toxic fumes, but they also need to ensure that the mask is in good condition. Cracks appear in the visor when taking damage, and while this could have been included as a simple visual clue to represent overall health, it actually results in the filters being less effective, significantly raising the stakes until a new mask is found. Artyom can also wipe the visor when dirty, with the screen gradually becoming more obscured until cleaned. This is a simple detail, but one that dramatically improves the immersion of the first-person franchise. Rain also has a similar effect on the overall feeling of realism that the series tries to convey, with drops of water glistening over the visor until cleaned. It may seem like a relatively small part of the Metro series, but it really adds to the overall experience. Number 2. NPCs actually eat. Red Dead Redemption 2. It wouldn't be a list about immersive details in video games without mentioning the king of small details, Red Dead Redemption 2. From shrinking horse testicles to accurate lunar cycles, this game goes above and beyond in its pursuit of immersion. The 2018 title features some of the most sophisticated NPCs in gaming as well, which really helps bring the title to life. But one little-known inclusion in Red Dead Redemption 2 surrounds NPCs' eating habits, which is to say that they actually eat. Many games feature food items that disappear in one bite or never disappear at all despite the character clearly eating. This is largely because it would be a clear waste of resources to have food that disappears accurately when characters eat it. But if anyone was going to do that, Rockstar is definitely that person. You see, if you get close to an NPC while they eat, you can watch them gradually finish a plate of food, with bites from forks being consumed accurately and the plate gradually becoming clean in real time. Now this is pointless, sure, but it goes to show the extreme lengths that Rockstar will go to when considering immersion for their titles, and is a detail that most players will likely never notice. And number 1, The Archers, Ghost of Tsushima. Developer Sucker Punch delivered one of the most cinematic and jaw-dropping games of recent years with Ghost of Tsushima, a sprawling open-world set in feudal Japan during the Mongol invasion of the island of Tsushima. Sucker Punch went to great lengths to ground the player in this world, using historical elements while also putting their own creative spin on the title. And one of the enemy types in Ghost of Tsushima is the Archer, who can be found firing arrow after arrow at you from a relatively safe distance. Now, being that other Mongols are fighting you at close quarters, this could be problematic, although the Archers have a cunning solution. When fighting the Archers, the word dushu can be heard often, followed by the ducking of other Mongol soldiers within the vicinity. You see, it's actually a Mongol word, roughly translating to English as being duck. The fact that Mongol archers are warning other soldiers to avoid the incoming arrow using a Mongol term is an extremely immersive inclusion in the game. It also helps improve the player's perception of the enemy AI, giving them a more human-like quality as you fight them throughout this critically acclaimed title. And there we go, my friends. Those were 10 seriously immersive video game details you missed. I hope that you enjoyed that, and please let me know what you thought about it down in the comments section below. As always, I've been Jules, so you can go follow me over on Instagram at RetroJ, but the O is a 0. Hope to see you over there. But before I go, I'm going to end this video with a detail that you will definitely not miss if you've been following any of my content over the last few years, and that is a moment of positivity and peace for you, my friend. Treat yourself with love, treat yourself with respect, because you deserve all the best things in life, alright? And do not let anything or anyone else tell you otherwise. You are a massive ledge, and I want you to go out there and smash your life goals today. I believe in you. As always, I've been Jules. You have been awesome. Never forget that, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.